One time I was trying to cook and I accidentally set the cookbook on fire.
I won't share my cooking horror stories. You will never sleep again.
Listen, you don't get off that easy.
From what I've heard, DeVon gets off quite easily.
Hey.
First of all,
The happy ending is that I became a fabulous cook, and I would say you can too. But do I believe it?
No.
No.
Nobody
as you
believes
shouldn't.
that.
As you shouldn't.
Saucier would be so ashamed of both of you. Miss Truvy, I promise that my personal cooking tragedy will not interfere with my ability to do good X-Men podcast.
Oh, God. I cannot make that promise. Good morning, Krakoa. Hi there. I'm Michael.
I'm DeVon.
And I'm Terence.
And each week we bring you the latest in X-book goodness. We will discuss them. We will dissect them. We may even terraform them, depending on, the subject matter. And we do it all for your listening pleasure. So sit back, relax, stay a while. How we doing?
Doing all right so far. Personal things. I got braces over the pandemic. Finally got those off, but my bite is off a little and it hurts to chew.
Oh no.
Yeah, so, I've got straight teeth, but I can't chew with them, and I've got clear skin, Accutane, but I can't drink. I've got one wish left on this monkey's paw, and I need to be very specific.
It should be that you don't make any wishes on the monkey's paw.
It should be, but, I'm already deep into this.
Could you wish for two monkey's paws, one that does the one thing and one that reverses the negative effects of the other monkey paw?
That is not how that works, but I appreciate your tenacity here.
Wouldn't also that be kind of irrelevant because it's his third wish?
You could wish for the anti-monkey's paw.
Haven't you seen Aladdin? All right, one of the basic rules of wishing on a magical item is that you can't wish for more wishes.
Yeah, but you're not wishing for more wishes. You're wishing for more magical items.
I feel that's the same thing.
No, so you don't wish for more wishes, you wish for more genies.
Yeah, genies do not inherently grant wishes, but they do.
And in this case, you will be turned into a genie. That's how this works. Also reference Wishmaster.
Also, just put asterisks into everything that you wish for. And I do not wish to be turned into a genie. I do not wish there to be genies that I do not want.
I will be consulting with my legal team for my third and final wish.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing all right. I am feeling pretty good, actually. And no, it's not because of the opioids. It's just fun to be teaching country stuff again and hanging out. And
hold on. Terence, what do you mean by country stuff?
Oh, Lord, we're not doing a plug. It's fine.
Yes, do a plug. You just said country stuff. Nobody's going to know.
By country stuff, I mean that I teach country line dancing at a gay bar in Atlanta.
Ooh, how exciting.
Yeah, right. It's really fun. Everyone's really great. We do two-step and line dance. And so I have been teaching for a couple of years there. And we got a lot of new people, which is really great. So Thursdays, 8:00, Heretic.
Yeah. So remember that, my lovely GMKers at home. If you find yourselves in Atlanta and you're just like, what I'm really itching for? Line dancing. Now you know where to go.
If you stay tuned, you'll find personal details about all of us so you can stalk us all one by one.
Hooray.
Braces, line dancing, can't cook.
Yeah, I just nearly burned my house down. I can't cook for all of you lovely people at home. I've been trying this new meal. It's not our sponsor, and they never will be after this story. But Hello Fresh. I tried them out. Turns out you really do need more of a modicum of skill to do it. And it seemed easy on paper, but apparently my stove is very dirty. My oven is very dirty. Yeah, it smoked, and it filled the whole house. And now I have terrible asthma.
Okay, so first of all, what those meal delivery services get wrong is that it's not the shopping that's daunting, it's the actual process of cooking. All right?
My very first HelloFresh meal, they had my ass standing over the sink peeling potatoes.
No, it's all the worst parts of IKEA and actual cooking, just squished together.
Peeling potatoes?
What, like it's hard?
Yeah.
I'm not going to let this go, ever. No, I get it. Cooking is daunting. That's why most flat skins can't do it,
Not just flat scans.
Yeah, there are degrees of mutant incompetency too, sure.
Oh, okay.
Krakoa
Wow.
grows everything we need, fully prepared and edible. All right,
And
there is no
vegan.
need to cook.
Even the cheese, and also the sentient veggie animals.
Yep.
All the animals are vegan as well.
You can just go down to the petting zoo and take a bite.
Okay, so what books do we have today?
Today, we have Planet Size X-Men #1, New Mutants #19, and X-Corp #2.
Even though we generally like to save the best for last, I think we probably should go in the reading order here.
So I'll summarize. Planet Size X-Men #1. It was written by Jerry Duggan with Jonathan Hickman listed as other. Pepe Larraz on artist, and colorist and cover artist and variant cover artist was Marte Gracia.
In 3, 2, 1, go.
Basically, you guys, the big reveal is that Magneto and his merry band of Omega level mutants have just revived Mars. Not just terraformed, they've resurrected a whole freaking planet. That's right, folks. This entire issue was a giant size pun. Get it? Planet size X-Men, and they made a planet. Anyways, so they did that with a whole bunch of Omega folks. And they also took the Araco Gate and the continent of Araco itself and brought it to Mars and gave it to them. So now it's not planet Mars anymore, it's planet Araco. And all of the flat scans are shaking their wee little boots, and that's okay because they did the damn thing. And
Nice. That was 50 seconds. Can I just say as the first thing here that Pepe Larraz and Marte Gracia, like, the art and the colors have been amazing. Gorgeous. I'm really stunned every time I read this book, like with their art in it. Amazing.
Yeah, I am marveling at this page with Storm on Mars' sky bringing the lightning. It's the colors, the highlights. It's beautiful.
oh my god, a lot of shit happens.
Yeah.
They really just kind of step through everything that happens. I'm not sure if it's to the detriment of the story, but there's a lot to cover.
I feel like it rivals, I think, the epicness of the initial story of Hoxpox, right? When you reveal that mutants can be revived. There's this island. Everything is fantastic. I know I've mentioned before that that's one of the key moments for me with this run. But this felt truly that level of scale. I mean,
Right.
Planet Sized, I think, is a totally earned moniker for this. Not just because they terraform a planet, but just the epic scale of everything that's happening in this book and how you've used all these characters. And even the introduction of these Iraqi mutants who themselves have actually really interesting powers.
Mm-hmm.
And just how it sets the stage, I think, for everything that's going to move forward.
So let's just start at the beginning. The first thing to think about is that they're using all of these different Omega level mutants to their best extent, with hope there to augment it even further, which I don't know how I feel about that part.
Well, you know, they've been emphasizing the whole mutant circuit thing. Her own power is just that she can kind of just augment things and make them a little bit better than they actually are. And it lines up with them boosting their powers in ways that they couldn't achieve alone.
I'm actually confused about Hope's powers because I thought they were less amplification and more mimicry.
Yeah, exactly. When she debuted, she was kind of, well, when she debuted as a mutant teenager with powers, they were really just like sinks, honestly.
Yeah.
She was described as the voodoo doll of mutantdom because she had access to any mutant's powers, whoever they were. And then she gained this ability to like activate new mutants that were dormant, which is how she got her 5 lights or whoever they were.
Yeah.
And then I think somewhere in between, there might have been an actual time when that was changed, but I just kind of assumed when we got to Hoxpox that they describe her as kind of being the spark, and I'll go with it. It makes her powers at least that much more interesting given her role as like the mutant messiah,
Right.
First newborn mutant. Like, fine, I'll go with it.
I mean, not just that, but think back to Hoxpox. The way they describe Hope's role in the 5 is as synergy. She's the link.
Yeah, the link, sort of the switch. She's regulating their powers as they synchronize together or synergize. But I'm willing to expand my knowledge of Hope's powers into amplification as well, if that's convenient to this era, which I am very forgiving of.
Right. Yeah. So the first thing we see here is that obviously you have the issue of iron, which is no problem for Magneto. He brings all of that through a bunch of asteroids. Then you have the issue with atmosphere, which is solved through making sure that the core is actually active and hot again, which also affects the gravity. They did say in one of those text pages that like the gravity is 38% of that of Earth's, and that's probably been a little bit more than doubled. So I guess still being on Mars is a little bit easier. You know who should be hanging out there? Lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
I mean, she has her powers now, and her they included being able to be lighter than Earth's gravity, so.
Right, and make everyone projectile vomit.
There were mitigating factors there. The Patchwork Man, there's stuff we haven't unpacked yet. Let's let Way of X be Way of X.
Yeah.
Oh, and can we just say a thank you that Pepe Larraz had Iceman on the surface of Mars, not wearing that hideous getup?
I'd wondered.
If I'm getting the whole terraforming process down, in order, it is taking iron from the Kepler belt by Magneto, and then thanks to Vulcan and Hope, cracking open the heart of Mars to put that iron in there. Once you've done that, we switch over to Iceman, who made new polar ice caps. Is that right?
Yeah, I think he basically fixed a lot of ambient water.
Okay.
Onto the surface. You also had Proteus and Hope. It sounds like they basically did a lot of clearing of materials because it looks like they're breaking up these mountains, reducing them to dust, and returning those various elements back into the system.
Then we have Sobanar of the Depths, one of the new Arakko mutants that is introduced to us. He is clearly Omega level because he just cuts his hand and releases an entire planet's worth of ocean.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
Fucking wow.
Also, I love that the flat scan technology just gets sunk to the bottom of the ocean, the new ocean immediately.
Okay, that actually, I get that they're making a real world analogy, but we also have things like Orcus. So how can we call the little explorer robot the most advanced human probe that we have in the universe when we have a literal space station that is orbiting the sun?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the Avengers have gone out into space multiple times.
Right. And we have Franklin Richards in general, and all of the shit that's in his garage is probably more advanced than the Explorer robot.
I don't know. Don't think about it too hard.
I get it's supposed to be a real world analogy. Mars is a big deal. I get it. But, we've built a more extraordinary reality over the years.
Next, we have Storm, who creates the weather.
Not the weather, the climate. She made an entire climate for this planet.
Which I guess just kind of sets everything into motion, which was really interesting. The idea that she was able to set the template of Mars in ways that I think later on they describe there are temperature signatures all over the place that human scientists don't really understand. And I hope that will be elaborated more because I think there's the potential to create so many different environments on the planet. So that's so cool.
I have a theory about that one in a minute. After Storm, we get another Arakko mutant who looks really cool. I love his design. Well, I guess. I don't actually know what their pronouns are. But his name is Xylo, first defender of this broken land. He kind of looks like a Zerg if you know anything about StarCraft. But I don't really quite get what his power was.
I think he kind of plays the role of nutrient fixers, the way earthworms and mushrooms and fungi basically inhabit locations is that the soil is otherwise sterile or dead. And so by having it pass through his systems the way that earthworms pass soil, it contributes a bunch of nutrients. They seem to even indicate bacteria, which frankly, honestly, reality check would be happening anyway because them having come from Earth, they would have brought all of their own bacterial flora with them, but whatever. So it seems like he's the last factor to till the soil in a natural way and bring it back into actually having the qualities that are necessary to sustain life.
Yeah, and that pretty much does the terraforming part, but then we switch over to Jean and Exodus with
Lakitu,
Lactuca, the knower. And their power is apparently that they just know where everything is. all things.
Yeah, and because of they're able to do this pinpoint warp of Araco onto the surface of Mars.
Yep. And so they moved the entire continent to
Island.
Well, it's like an island.
well, it seems like a continent to me.
It's fairly small.
Okay, fine.
That said, Oceania has been broken up. Like Australia, Oceania are no longer one continent. They're actually considered two different continents. So Zealandia is now considered the 8th continent because they looked at, I think, the tectonics and they were like, this is actually its own continent. So
You've rocked my world. But Pluto is still a planet, right?
No,
unfortunately, Sailor Pluto, you are not.
I thought they'd reverse that decision.
they tried, but they didn't.
Damn it.
Dwarf.
Yeah.
She's up there with Ceres now.
Aw. So it could be a tiny place. That's fine. It's all about what's underneath the surface.
Right. And we get this great quote. So Sopanar says, "The ocean of my blood roars. It teems with the offspring of the Sopanar line. The young will grow, evolve, and make war as all Araki do. Dive in and prove your worth unless you are soft cowards." I thought that was a freaking epic line, personally.
Yeah, but it was strange to me because they seem to indicate that the new challenge for planet Araco is that it is not going to be a time of war. So I get that there might be ideological differences on the planet, but it seemed very tonally inconsistent because if the message is that the Iraqis, and especially those who are assisting the X-Men in doing this, know that what this is to basically create a home for them that they no longer have to fight for. I don't really get why we have this page with Sovinar being like, yeah, we're all gonna make war and don't be a coward.
That is not at all what my interpretation of gifting Araco Mars was. I thought this was the X-Men or Krakoa getting rid of their problem children in a
for sure.
way that mollified them sufficiently.
Oh, well, yes, but they even describe it as like the issue here will be peacetime is the larger challenge. And that seemed to be the signal of like what this new world means for them.
Yeah, they write it that way, but I think the issue is that all the Iraqi know is war. And so from their perspective, yeah, let's go out and fight. It'll be kill or be killed. Mutant eat mutant world. But what is going to inevitably happen is that the fighting will die down because they don't have the constant aggressor like they used to have.
But even then, it seems to fly in the face of what we plan to use Araco for. You know, here we have that Araco is also serving as an interstellar port. So basically, it's meant to be a place where other races across the galaxy or interstellarly can arrive and receive protection and resolve their issues. So if I don't buy that the planet is just going to be a place where the Iraqis can just go forth and make war and make it tumultuous. It's not Battle World. It's not whatever planet Hulk was on, because they're clearly using it as a spaceport.
They're using part of it as a spaceport. They make it very clear that everything outside of Lake Halus is subject to Iraqi law,
Right.
which is ill-defined.
Yeah, but
At
it
best.
still means that this planet has to serve as like a place that's not like you touch down and everything's just going to shit. There's some order that's being maintained here.
And that order is being maintained only at Lake Hellas. As far as I interpret, like everything outside of that, they're just going to let the Iraqi be the Iraqi. They have given them what they want, which is dominion over a world, I guess. They have it. They fulfilled their purpose because they were attempting to take over Earth. I think that's what this scene in the beginning when we see Magneto speaking to Iska about the contingent of Iraqi mutants who've claimed sovereignty in some bar or brewery in Japan.
Yeah. Not just that, but Jean even says the Iraqi must earn their spoils or they will not be content.
Right.
Yeah. I guess then this is intentional because it does mean that there are a lot of problems here, because why wouldn't the Iraqi just suddenly, now that they have dominion over a planet, just turn back and take over Earth, which is, I think, discussed a little bit in the beginning, which makes this seem more of a foolhardy action and a very blatantly foolhardy action.
I think the Iraqi are going to be what keeps the Iraqi from taking over Earth, because every Iraqi is going to be trying to be the one that rules the planet itself. It's a constant snarf war.
It's not like the Iraqi are bloodthirsty, mindless brutes. They have a culture, they have war, they have honor, which is why they're here in the first place, because they lost and they accepted that loss and accepted the terms of it. And yeah, we have a few outliers who go and claim breweries in Japan, but for the most part, they have abided by the rules put forth for this planet. unhappy as it made them. I don't expect to see them in the near future anyway becoming a problem for Earth. They don't deem the humans worth conquering. They're just there.
That's true. They're always after the strongest target, right?
All right.
And they view humans as weak, exceptionally weak. And if you have to just to consider who you're going to attack, and you prefer the strongest target, you've got weakling humans who have their own little mudball planet, and then you've got your home planet where you currently are with a bunch of Iraqi that you deem equally worthy. It's a no-brainer. You're going to keep fighting them.
Can we also talk about this massive flex of mutants taking the reins and becoming the intergalactic ambassadors for humankind? Well, for this entire galaxy.
Literally naming Araco as the capital of the solar system.
Yes.
Ballsy. After reading this issue, I was like, I cannot wait for Sword.
You know, the thing that I like about it and why it's such a ballsy move is I really think, of course, anything can be written out of continuity, but I think that this is such a bold action that it really cannot be ignored, that now in the Marvel universe, this other planet essentially belongs to mutants, especially as Marvel moves into more of these interstellar stories. I think the impact of that is really phenomenal, and I'm glad, because I think it's going to be a real challenge if you wanted to return everything to the status quo, to suddenly like strip mutants of having essentially conquered and colonized Mars.
Nah, we've killed entire universes before. I think this retconning this won't be too hard.
I mean, technically it's already built into the story. We know that whatever happened on Mars ended up failing spectacularly, and thus endeth mutants. But
I'd forgotten that.
It's a bold decision. I'm here for it.
It would be a lot of heavy-handedness if they did it. That if they undid all of this, you'd have to be heavy-handed.
And I know I'm arguing against my own point, but yeah, because we all know Marvel hasn't ever done anything that was just so blatantly heavy-handed.
Araco is a great opportunity for Storm to show up and leave Earth, maybe trying to stabilize the weather on this planet, and she gets mixed up into some more interstellar business. What if she becomes like the Earth ambassador? We've already been told that Storm is going to be doing stuff that's more interstellar in nature. This is the perfect opportunity for that.
Yeah, I agree. I think one of the criticisms of Storm's presence that I had in Marauders is that she was just too big for the book. And it's a testament to how she's written, but everything that she encounters, we know that Storm is going to win. We know she's going to be smart enough, strong enough, fast enough, and powered enough to be able to do it. Even when she doesn't have her powers, right? She's still a badass. So giving her a stage like whatever the interstellar frontiers are for mutants is a really good opportunity to give her something to push up against. I mean, fuck, she even fought like Death from Araco and kicked his ass like pretty easily. So
that's what I was going to say. She has street cred of beating Death amongst the Iraqi mutants.
So I think if she ends up moving more toward the sword end of things, or just even her own title or her own book, where she's doing interstellar stuff, I think it could be really good for the character. So are we ready to talk about Mpreg?
Oh, we have to. It's gotta be now. So so I want to first talk about the subtle drawing of the psychic sperm being implanted in Jamie's brain.
Yeah, totally subtle.
With his nightmarish face coming out of his brain hole.
I know.
This image is so amazingly trippy.
I mean, just credit. I mean, so much. It's a gorgeous, weird, trippy piece of artwork, and damn, credit to Pepe Larraz for this.
In his face, when he says "oh," that's the face you make as a bottom when the dick has hit that spot.
When it hit the second ring.
Yeah.
When you got to the second hole, and now he's preggers, and he's loving it.
And then he's preggers, and he's holding his belly. I love it. And then it does a full chest burster.
I mean, that's nightmare fuel for the chest burster. I mean, the Mpreg part of me is like, yeah, that's hot. And then kaboom, I'm like, ooh, maybe not so much. But, and then seeing James, okay, and then credit for the color artist, just that like Jamie's face in the bottom panel after he's like given birth and he's all flushed. Oh my God, I love it. It's just like Dude, you just got ripped from like tail to taint. You loved it.
And he goes, first he says, somebody owes me supper. And then they're like, oh, wait, we've got to do it again. And he does it again.
I thought it was pretty cool that they also they mentioned Mercator, which I think is a nice confirmation that the Mercator area in Otherworld does belong to Mr. M.
Yeah.
And so basically what Magneto was looking for is an Omega level reality warper who can do all these things that they need done. So they went to Jamie. I mean, they can't go with a Franklin because Franklin's a fucking flat scan. Fucking flatty. And they got Jamie. Also, I love that he's so cape focused. This whole book, everything about these books is so cape focused. Can I have your cape? You cannot have my cape. Well, bring me my cape. Your cape's right here. Yes, I love good cape.
And everybody loves their own cape.
Right.
I mean, the capes in this book are magnificent, so I can understand why.
I still can't get over how like spent Jamie is.
I live for it.
There's so much to digest in this book.
I love it. It's bold. It was a great issue. So satisfying.
When they're talking about potential members of their team, they say, what about roping Legion into this? And Magneto says, I don't trust David yet. Just doesn't happen to casually mention, that actually David turned him down before he could even offer.
And I like that they shaded Franklin.
Yeah, we have no need of more pretenders. The boy is no family of ours. Damn, dude.
Yeah, get the fuck out.
Ouch.
Happy Pride.
No fake queers in here.
I mean, this was Magneto's big thing. I wonder if this is going to fall into the trial. But if it is, then I don't really think there's a crime here. Humans haven't really, as Magneto says to Storm, he's like, they can be upset about something they never would have been able to obtain.
Yeah, die mad about it.
Yeah, die mad about it. Happy Pride.
I'm sorry. I need that as like a meme image. It's just Magneto in full cape regalia going die mad about it, and then another bubble, Happy Pride.
I like that the designs of the Iraqi mutants are so non-human like.
Yes.
To illustrate that, the obvious mutations haven't been an issue where they come from because there are no humans. They don't have to assimilate. I would think that the older the mutant is, the more human-like their form, because obviously they generated from Earth and they have the same ancestry, but through the generations they become more alien-looking, like Lactuga, Sobinar, Xylo. I always think that's a great detail, and seeing it on full display on this page where all the Iraqi mutants are coming home is great.
Of the 3 Iraqi mutants, really, of all Iraqi mutants that I've been introduced to so far, I think Xylo's my favorite.
Yeah, I think he's pretty cool.
Cute little earthworm Jim. Well, Marsworm Jim.
He's all worms.
All worm Jim.
Oop, all worms.
Oops, all worm. Oh. When he is worming his way up to the little statues of Apocalypse and Genesis, and he looks up at them, it's so cute, and it gave me Homeward Bound vibes. Or if not Homeward Bound, maybe Fievel Goes West. Like I can just see him being like, somewhere out there.
Apocalypse is not thinking about Richter
At all.
More on that later.
Someone's not thinking of Richter.
That's because no one likes Richter too. We'll workshop it. One last thing, just a brief note. Captain America, Steve Rogers, had the audacity to be like, well, I wasn't going to go to the gala. You motherfucker. You get an invitation, you go.
And he's like, ooh, I want to show up at like the X Mansion. Like, fuck him. Like,
Fuck all the way off.
You, like, I just want you to like remember how things like used to be when you guys were like nice and polite and like well behaved. I just thought we could like meet here. Like, fuck you. Fuck out of here, Steve Rogers.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Our other 2 books do kind of follow through with the rest of the gala. They use a lot that's been revealed in Planet Size X-Men and provides a bit more context. So the next book we'll review is New Mutants. So I have New Mutants number 19. It's written by Vita Ayala. Art is by Alex Linz, who is taking over for the next few issues. And then our color artist here is Matt Milla.
All right, ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
New Mutant starts off with Warlock getting a savage dressing down, pun intended, from a douche nozzle Jonathan Van Ness lookalike, but who isn't JVN, because JVN would never, unlike one of my fellow reviewers, causing Danny to take Warlock around and help him feel better. We see Laura dodge Sync like he's the plague, and Rain straight up lies to Laura about Gabby's whereabouts. Get it? Where? Ha ha ha, just kidding. Rain's totally the worst for real. Rain and Danny discuss Rain's missing son Tyr, but it's hard to feel bad for her because she straight up just lied about Gabby. We get an adorable text page, literally, that conveys characterization the way it should be done. Everyone else take notes. Karma shows up like the fashion goddess she is. Anyone who didn't give Shan an A for her outfit deserves to be scalped as hard as Shan scalps Barry, the artist, for being a disgusting turd. Warpath notices that Warlock has been mimicking everyone all night and is lonely without Doug. While very blatantly showing a photo of his dead brother, why is he still dead? He encourages him to talk things out with Doug, and surprise, it works! He and Bay and Doug seem to be getting along fabulously. The New Mutant ladies help Warpath fix his buckle. Laura reads a heartfelt letter from Gabby about getting closer and celebrating. The Misfit X-Kids have a bridge to Terabithia moment when they find Gabby's murdered body in the woods, courtesy of Shadow King. Rain, you're the worst. Hashtag Rain is the worst. I'll say it again. Rain, you're the worst.
1 minute, 22 seconds.
Yep, and I loved every second of it.
So did we.
So I just want to say, Rain, you're the worst. Did I say that? Rain, you're the worst.
You'd mentioned it.
Yeah.
I think.
Wait, what was that? I didn't quite get it.
I think she's like the. Hang on, let me check. I'm looking it up. Yeah, we're getting reports coming in here that say that Rain, you're the worst. Like straight up fucking garbage, girl. Like Laura's literally like, "Where's my sister? She would love this. Where is she? Where's my? Anyone seen my sister? I'm really worried about her. Oh, she didn't show up for practice. Also, I like made her talk to a psychic parasite who's gonna fuck her ass up. Fuck you, Rain."
I'm just hoping that Rain is not fully in control of herself. Like maybe there's going to be some Deus Ex Machina and she's under the Shadow King's control. But this was not a good look for Rain.
She's acting the same as the Misfit kids.
But even the Misfit kids like generally know what is right and what is wrong, and they are kids, aging aside in weird timelines. Rain is an adult.
I'm just saying maybe it's the whole Shadow King influence thing.
Yeah, I totally can buy that the Shadow King is somehow influencing her, but like, girl, this is one too many. How many people, Rain? How many?
Right?
You let Doug die, you fucked Elixir when he was a student, and you delivered Gabby into the hands of a fucking monster. And you lied about it while crying about your missing, not dead son.
Yeah, that entire scene at the party between Danny and Rain. Did you see Rain's face throughout that? The way she's illustrated, she's just straight up contemptuous.
Yeah, she hates Danny.
I don't think she like fucking hates Danny, but I think she's upset. But it's just really hard to feel empathy for her in what is a sympathetic situation. She's in crisis when she's literally committed a very evil act.
But not just that, like there's this, when she's having a conversation with Danny, at one point she's like, "No, it's fine. I should know better. Like, I'm not mad. I should have known better than to ask you that." You know, like she's doing the whole passive aggressive, like, "I'm not mad. Do I look like I'm mad? Am I mad? I'm not bothered though."
Right? I am not tall enough for this emotional roller coaster ride.
I'll also say this, I'm liking Alex Lynn's artwork here. It just feels a bit more coherent for me. So I did enjoy this much more. I love the emoticon use, even by Warlock, as he's going through the party. That's super cute. Let's talk about that text group, that chat group.
Yes, this is one of a very short list of data pages that I actually enjoy.
I mean, it really is writing and illustrating in a way that demonstrates great character work. It conveys so much information and so much fun in a way that isn't like being just crammed down your throat. It was so funny.
There's so much here to unpack, right? Like we've got the New Mutants. Forever is the name of the chat group, which of course implies that like them as a family unit is like another tier beyond X-folk in terms of closeness, which makes sense for them. We've got Magik doing her own thing, and I can only assume, because there were very few misspellings, that she must be using the hell out of autocorrect.
Well, that's true. She's also using a hell of a bunch of emojis.
Right?
Once again, Magik steals the book every time she's in it.
She is now my favorite character. I'm sorry, Emma.
She is pretty great. I mean, there's just like a lot of give no fucks energy here.
This emoji combination, I've mentioned it to you guys before, but that is now going into my emoji vocabulary. All right, that
Manicure tea.
right, that is clearly I said what I said, and I am unbothered.
Look, it's looking at your nails while you sip your tea.
Right. I'm glad that they finally resolved the thing with Warlock. It sounds like it's very sweet, but I also like when things don't get drawn out forever. So it's nice that he was given some good advice by Warpath, which is what I like to see. I want to see Warpath actually demonstrating that he's an empathetic listener, right? That he can provide that sort of guidance instead of you telling me that he is providing that in a text block. Because here he gives Warlock some good advice and Warlock goes and does it. And it turns out him and Bay and Doug get along really well.
Mm-hmm.
So great. And it's a really nice descriptor of the uniqueness of people in your life. You will never replace somebody. You'll just find other people who fill different parts of you in different ways. And that was really sweet. Like you guys have mentioned before, I don't get why James is showing a picture of his dead brother when literally every mutant can come back. Just give me a line that says like, I don't think my brother would want to come back, right? Like I think it's disrespectful to his memory, so we won't bring him back or something. But
Right.
In a world where everyone is being brought back, including mutants who we haven't seen in probably like 20 years, why is the original Proud Star dead?
It doesn't make sense. I don't understand it. They've offered no explanation. There has to be something intentional here, right?
Yeah.
Like there's got to be.
Twist. There is no brother. He's a clone.
Right. It was you all along. Oh, can we also talk about Xi'an just scalping this dude, like reading him for filth? Like that was an Electra abundance moment.
So
It really
first,
was.
I want to formally apologize to everyone for mistaking this guy for Jonathan Van Ness. He is clearly not. And this clearly takes place before he runs off to the bathroom and encounters that Terra Verde guy completely planting out.
So were they supposed to be the same person?
I'm fairly certain they are.
Makes one wonder.
I just happen to think that maybe they were two different characters. Like maybe they had tried to draw Jonathan Van Ness in another book, and then they had this other character that they created who just looks, similar, but not intentionally.
To be fair, if JVN were actually at the gala, he would definitely be wearing some kind of gender fluid outfit, not a regular suit and tie.
Yeah, he would be wearing a gown. Like, yeah. And can you also like catch him like cribbing like Megan the Stallion, like Barry the artist? Fuck out of here, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a savage, like scalping, wig snatching, red to filth.
Karma has this moment here that is that moment every gay boy dreams of. Maybe other people too. I don't know, but I know every gay boy dreams of it, where you think about it and you rehearse it all day long, how some motherfucker is going to say the wrong thing and you're going to turn around, you are going to read them down. And you practiced it and you rehearsed it. You prepare lines. You do it in the car. You do it in the shower. You're ready. You're waiting for a bitch. And then you finally say it and you get that moment. And for some of us, it never comes. Karma finally got that moment where she got to do a proper dressing down of someone.
Yeah, this scene here, Karma said queer rights. Happy Pride. Just delivering for Pride Month.
Truly is. And also another ding in the is Magik a lesbian corner or somewhere on the spectrum, because she jumps in to pretend to be Karma's girlfriend.
It was nice. It was a great moment.
In this book, and I know we kind of take this stuff for granted, but I think it's good for younger folks to see it, how this guy is saying some really problematic shit to Karma and Magik. I just got to get between them and blah, 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 blah. And no character supports it. No character laughs. No character chuckles. All of them treat him like the disgusting piece of filth that he actually is.
Yeah.
And that's nice.
It is
Right.
nice.
Good on
Like,
Marvel.
Don't tolerate that shit anymore.
Right.
I guess the last thing to talk about here is that Laura gets this letter from Gabby by way of Jonathan, where it really, I mean, it kind of lays it on thick. I really miss you and we should be closer and I can't wait to party. Guess what? I'm dead.
Yeah.
Like murdered. Now, I do have to say that the dialogue that we have here, that's clearly the Shadow King's dialogue with Gabby, is more nuanced and interesting. He seems, if we take it at face value, which we don't have to, he seems to be saying that like he recognizes that eventually the other shoe is going to drop and these kids are going to be in positions that are not in a paradise. And that means that they have to be prepared and they have to be strong. And if the Shadow King did not just clearly murder Gabby, I would at least understand that. I would understand wanting to make those kids stronger. Because the reality is, and that does tie into the beauty standard issue that was going on with them, is that unlike other mutants, if they are in that position, they cannot hide. No one is going to be able to cover for them. They can't pass in that society. So there's an inherent danger that they face that other mutants do not.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that was very interesting. And then, of course, he murdered Gabby. So with Rain's help.
But this also brings back a point, which I'm sure they'll cover next New Mutants issue. Gabby is a clone, you know.
Are they going to resurrect her? I don't know.
Right. Well, I'm sure that will be discussed at length in the next New Mutants issue. And if not, it's a crime.
Yeah. And Alex Summers should be very interested in what the results are there.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
You know, I'm a little disappointed that even the events of Cable haven't really dealt with that question, because Nathan is Madeline's child. You'd think he would have some vested interest, and also himself as a clone in this issue that is going on with Resurrection, and he hasn't really been folded in. So I know they've really got to wrap it up because they've been canceled, but I was kind of hoping we'd see more of that in there. Our last book that we're going to review here is X-Corp #2.
X-Corp #2, written by Teenie Howard, artists Alberto Focci and Sunny Go.
Ready in 3, 2, 1, go.
We open on M taking flack for revealing X-Corp's family-sized shield helicarrier at the end of the last issue. She's screening angry voicemails from the same people who are hours away from announcing they've terraformed Mars in only 3 days, so she's not feeling too bothered. She violates a whole lot of HR rules anyway to check in with her co-CXO in the shower and make sure they have all their meetings lined up and to give us more gratuitous male nudity.
Mm-hmm.
Jump to Jamie Madrox, trying to get his team of background characters under control and desperately trying to stay relevant. M and Angel start a classic 80s interview montage while Jamie disrobes in public to disguise himself as himself to sneak into the party he's already attending, making us all wonder what institution gave this man a doctorate. Next, we have a millennial's anxiety nightmare or a death goddess with 17,000 years of experience still can't get the job. Monet and Angel have a laugh at how quirky and different they are. Then the party is crashed by our least favorite Nazi pair, the Strucker twins. They think they have something to offer, but Mama Monet swiftly shuts that down and puts them right in their place, right before X-Corp's human diversity hire shows up to reveal that she's double dipping and has a meeting with MAGA Hansel and Gretel. Jamie reveals himself and tries to have a moment, but he is not on the schedule. Flash forward to Mastermind strolling through the garden with our actual main characters, trying to spin his crimes into a resume. He leaves his business card. Then Monet remembers she left the doors unlocked and gets back to HQ to find alt-right Goldilocks skipping through the halls about to get the drop on Trinary. While Monet cracks open a fresh can of whoop-ass for Andrea Van Strucker, Angel tracks down the other half of this Breitbart morning show, and only to find he's buttered up this Kaylee McEnany lookalike, and they're going to run a side hustle selling off-brand mutant drugs. Andreas can feel a butt-whooping his sister is taken all the way from here and turns on Angel, only to find out Angel and Mastermind have been walking him into an ambush Bugs Bunny would have seen coming. Angel somehow doesn't get his dick sliced off and gets Tea Party Targaryen in the chokehold that would make Stone Cold Steve Austin proud. Monet shows up looking damn near perfect, compliments Angel and not turning into a blueberry during the fight, only to find out sketchy Shakespeare was covering for him with another illusion.
Oh my god. Time. Okay, 2 minutes, but I loved it. I loved every second of it. Oh my god. I mean, this is not a...
Thank you.
Tea Party Targaryen? Shut the front door.
Like MAGA Goldie.
I need merchandise.
My god.
I need mugs. I need shirts. I need posters.
I'm gonna need to like re-listen to this section. I loved it. I loved every second of it. Well done again.
Much appreciated.
I am so glad that this issue did deal with the issue of the Von Struckers, because they did show up, they were referenced in one panel during the Crucible. They're highly problematic. They're literally fucking Nazis. So I'm glad that even as mutants, they're being dealt with. If not officially, then at least by other characters in these books. And Monet is just gonna fuck her shit up. Both of them. Millennials' worst nightmare. Like, Death Goddess with 17,000. Oh my god.
She's talking about business before the word existed.
Right. DeVon, I wanted to check in here because I was actively thinking about it as I was reading this book. The last time we read this, we had some criticisms of the book because it seemed like they were really playing up this dichotomy of good and evil, of control and a loss of control, and specifically in a way that you felt you were seeing with Monet as a Black woman and Angel as the archetype of white maleness. Did you feel that that was more balanced out this time or not?
Absolutely.
Or did you notice it?
Yeah, I definitely noticed it throughout the entire book. And I think at the end, we get this moment with Wingard covering for Angel, which sort of brings us to, it's not that he's any more in control than Monet, but he's hiding it better and he's getting help to hide it when he can't. So he's in a way more out of control than she is, because she fully accepts, for the most part, she fully owns that rage. Owns her penance form, whereas Angel, even though it's called for and it's completely acceptable because he's already walked Andreas out away from the crowd where anyone can see it, he still won't let himself be seen that way.
It was interesting. I didn't really know why Jason was covering for him.
This is the white institution protecting the white man's image.
Yeah, that's very literally what that was.
Their business decisions didn't seem so divided between spontaneous versus thought out. I think there was a little bit more of a melding there. So that was nice if you were reading it from that perspective, to see that it wasn't following form from the first issue.
This definitely reframes Monet's decision as less of an impulsive thing and more of a quick thinking.
And I love how she gave it no fucks to all those voicemails, especially from Charles. She's like, Charles, you should stay on the other side of the dance floor.
Stay in your lane.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, don't come for me.
How do we feel about Madrix?
Oh, man. Okay, that was the other thing. This was some weird top-down shit. The stuff with Madrix has weirded me out in the past because the dupes are supposed to be him, right? They are always a copy of him. They have their own thoughts, their own feelings, and they've wrestled and explored in other books like Peter David's run of X Factor, what that kind of means, that independence and the weird problematic issue of having to reabsorb his dupes. And in this case, farming them out to do service industry labor while also treating them really poorly and putting the hammer down in terms of power dynamics was very fucked up.
It is, but at the same time, going back to Peter David's run on X Factor, that's how he ran it. That's always how he's treated his dupes, where he's the boss and they got what he says or he'll absorb them. But also, I like the little nod of that one dupe, because the issue is, it's not so much that they're just copies of him with their own thoughts and feelings. They are a manifestation of a different part of him. So there's all sorts of different elements of Jamie that are coming out. And so this guy was the one that stands up for the little guy. And Jamie was like, no, you the fuck don't, not today.
It's weird in the context of, I don't even want to call it like a labor crisis, but the labor crisis in the US right now, where companies are expecting the workforce to come back to jobs that pay terribly, that treat them horribly, with governments pushing to cut unemployment right now in order to get people to go back to those kinds of jobs where they don't receive that level of respect. So it feels a little off color to read that in this issue while all of that is happening right now, especially in a space that is supposed to be further ahead in its ideologies and literally a paradise compared to the flat scan world.
I think he likes it. They kind of hint at it when Trinary is like, wait a second, why are you even here? Don't you have a wife named Layla Miller? And he quickly changes the subject.
Yeah, speaking of additional references to people who shouldn't be dead, like, where are they? Where's Layla, right? Like, where's the original Proud Star? Where's Layla Miller? And at least they asked it, but to what end?
Well, maybe this will be the book where it comes up.
I sure hope so. My theory is that Jamie is not actually Jamie Prime. He's had that issue in the past. What if Jamie Prime is actually with Layla?
Conspiracy corner.
Yeah.
It's a fucked up class thing happening here, and,
Yeah.
I expect better of Jamie and mutants in general on the island.
What do we think of the insecurity about Monet's treatment of him?
Yeah, I wish I'd gotten a little more background on their particular dynamic, because what I'm getting here is just contempt from Monet, but she has contempt for just about everyone. So
Can I lore dump for a second?
please.
Sure.
So in the Peter David days, when Monet was with him in X Factor, they had a brief one-night fling. Once it was over, she ends up developing this rapid pregnancy, which becomes a little baby. And then when Jamie goes to hold the baby, he absorbs it into himself because it turned out it was a dupe the whole time.
That is all kinds of fucked up.
Yeah, that's like nightmare fuel. Yeah, wow.
Yeah. So ever since then, Monet has been understandably angry and enraged because she didn't even know what happened. Like, sure, they got drunk and they hooked up. That's whatever. But then to find out that he tried to impregnate her with his baby, even though he didn't actually try, but from her perspective, she's like, you got me pregnant. So she was like furious at him pretty much for the rest of the book.
I had read that certain things in Peter David's run didn't age very well. I wonder if that is one of them.
Definitely sounds like it. I mean, top contender.
So their other people that they were consulting were, of course, Mastermind, who I think proved himself well enough to earn a seat on the board as a PR consultant, which I guess Sophia must be livid about.
Mm.
I didn't realize that she had changed her name. Celine is no longer the Black Queen. She's Black Priestess.
That's new.
Well, she's no longer in the Hellfire Club, so can she keep that title?
Technically, but even Emma, for a long period of time, was no longer in the Hellfire Club, even if she was somewhat affiliated, and her codename is still White Queen.
No, they almost never called her White Queen.
I know they never call her that, but like in the Astonishing run, when they actually list like their codenames out, she's always listed as her codename is actually White Queen.
I always thought that was less a code name and more of a reminder that she's not one of us.
You can't sit with that.
But I think you're right. With the Hellfire Trading Company being such a major player in Krakoa, they probably are going to shy away from that.
So Celine also interviews for the position, and they don't seem to really give it to her. But Monet, I think, was surprised compared to her initial perspective on Celine. She was like, oh, actually, I like you quite a bit.
Yeah, which is a little problematic, Monet. I get it. You're supposed to be like living up to your dark side. But also, girl, she is confirmed to have killed a lot of people recently, a lot of humans. I still don't understand how Celine isn't thrown in the bowels of Krakoa.
Hashtag girl boss energy.
Right?
I mean, how Cruella, killed a bunch of puppies, and here we are.
She hasn't in the movie, I'm just saying.
The trial is pending. I'm sure they're just tied up right now.
It's just like tied up in the courts. Like all these murders.
Right? Thunderbird, Neil Shara. So that confused me because I didn't know who he was at first, and I thought we were talking because I read this last, after New Mutants, and when I read Thunderbird, I was like, oh, okay, so he is alive. I thought they were talking about Warpath, the original Warpath, because he also had the code name Thunderbird at first.
Right. So Neil Shara took on the codename Thunderbird. He's an Indian mutant who I think is from a pretty well-off family, which makes sense then that he's involved with X-Corp, because I think he was financially quite well off, if not part of like some enterprise. So it makes sense for him. We also have Sunspot, who showed up, given that dick energy the entire time.
Douchiest.
I guess this is Berto's whole character now, because I don't really care for it, but I guess he's just constantly being a nozzle.
So now we're seeing that horrendous outfit in full display, casually sitting on the couch. What do we think about it now?
It's still trash.
Still hate it.
Yeah, I hope that you guys have recognized your folly with regard to 1, Warlock, Michael, and 2, Karma, both of you. But Roberto does not get a reprieve here. This is trash.
No, Karma was cute. I liked her look.
Exactly.
I still stand by my grading. And Warlock, I stand by it still 100%. Mm-hmm. He didn't even know who he was. That's why he kept being other people. It was really cool when they did have the Celine section. We mentioned this earlier, but I really liked that she mentioned agriculture and hunters and things like that. That is a nice nod to the character's history.
Yeah.
But the most important thing from this book is that we got a full nude panel of Angel in the shower, and I saw Butt Watch 2021 is in full swing. We got a naked Angel in the shower. Lord help me. I got the vapors, I got the steams.
Not only was he naked, but he was very deliciously scruffy.
Mm-hmm.
The thing I like the most is that he dries himself off. Apparently, not just his wings, but also his hair by shaking off like a duck, where he's just like adorable.
Right, but cleaning that bathroom must be hell.
Also, that probably doesn't work when he's in Archangel form.
No.
Oof, the mess.
But if you needed to demo that bathroom for a renovation. So let's move on to our tops and bottoms of the week.
Speaking of cute butts.
So we've had 3 weeks where we've had 3 books. And that first week, we were really impressed with all 3 of them. They had to do with the gala. They were a lot of fun. The second week, we were not as impressed with the showing here. And here, I think I would definitely rank this higher than the previous week. I think the books were all very solid. Planet-Size X-Men, man, for me, that was, I don't think there's a question here. Just the epic scale of what was revealed, the way characters were used, the artwork, everything to me blew me out of the water. So that's definitely my top. Definitely, I don't have one here that's a fuckboy. I may say that X-Corp was probably my bottom, but it's just really because the book is so new. I'm not totally keyed into what's going on with the characters yet, whereas I'm much more invested in Gabby, in New Mutants, and what was happening there. So I'll probably give X-Corp my bottom, but it wasn't bad.
With Planet-Size X-Men, you can't change the status quo this dramatically and not be affected by it. This was great. The art was amazing. Yeah, that panel with Storm is really what caught my attention. So I'm definitely going to make this my top. I'm not too terribly invested in what's happening in New Mutants, but I am very optimistic about X-Corp. So I'm going to have to give New Mutants my bottom, even though it's not a bad book. I enjoyed it. I liked reading it, except the parts that had to do with rain. But yeah, I loved the Monet moments we had in X-Corp #2 and the takedown of the Struckers. So
that was pretty great.
Right?
Like you guys, Planet Size has to be my number 1. It changes the game. It changes the entire system. That can't be denied. So absolutely, that is number 1. But it was close. All 3 books were really good. All 3 books were for sure excellent this time around. Oh, I am gonna say I think I enjoyed the characterizations just a teeny tiny bit more in New Mutants than I did in X-Corp. It was the text page that did it for me. Like them texting each other back. That made me enjoy it a lot more. It gave me the warm fuzzies when Cypher and Warlock were being buddies again, and I liked how everybody rallied around Karma, and Karma did have that Elektra moment. So yeah, New Mutants will take the second spot, which unfortunately just by process of elimination means X-Corp is on the bottom. But as we've said, it is by no means any kind of statement saying it was a bad book. It was still a really good book. It just was the least of 3 great books.
Also, that was a great callback. I don't know if anyone remembers that text page from some New Mutants issue before, where Warpath is recounting like why he's annoyed with Warlock because he's always following around and imitating people. That was a great callback to that, making that make sense several issues later.
It's nice detail work. So now it's time for
Destiny's Due Dates.
So what books do we have on the horizon?
Next week, we have Wolverine number 13, Way of X number 3, and Sword number 6. But, oh, wait, there's more. X-Men Legends number 4.
Wolverine normally I would boo, but it is supposed to be continuing a storyline that we had read in a different book. So I think it's supposed to be continuing what happens in X-Force.
Yes.
So at least it'll get my attention there. Maybe the tone will shift from how Wolverine has been to being just as fun as those other books were during that week, especially since you're dealing with Deadpool and Terra Verde and all that kind of stuff. It'll be a nice break from vampires again. Way of X, still excited for, especially since different books have been noting how drunk Kurt is. It's not just like 1 or 2 books. It's literally like, here's the character beat for this event. Nightcrawler is drunk as fuck.
I love it. New
Put it in
Mutants.
all your books.
Right?
Yeah. I just was it a Hickman edict? Nightcrawler is drunk in every book, and he wants to have. I love it. This tells us that Kurt is a philosophical drunk. Every single one of them, he's like, Danny, I want to know what are your thoughts as a Valkyrie on the meaning of life after death. It's great.
Hellions, I want to hang out with you. Like, he's like the best drunk. He's the best kind of drunk. And then we got Sword, so I can't wait for that. I think we're gonna find out what they've been harvesting, whatever that substance was called. And then with the reveal of Planet-Size X-Men, it'll be great to see those things align, hopefully, and develop more into Sword's own storyline, so it doesn't have to be tied in with whatever crossover is happening in the Marvel universe right now. X-Men Legends, we'll see.
We're gonna pick up with that Apocalypse storyline, I assume.
Yep.
You're right. As always, we love to hear from you, so feel free to comment on our YouTube channel, or feel free to shoot us an email at goodmorningkrakoa@gmail.com. And you can also find us on our sexy Twitter, gmorningkrakoa.
And remember, if you liked what you heard today, you can always like, comment, subscribe, and share. We hope to hear from you soon. We love you so much, because it's Good Morning Krakoa, and good night.